I have been asked many times how I come up with themes for my bullet journal. In this video, I'm going to show you how I consistently come up with a new theme every month. I'm also going to show you how I come up with different design elements and features to keep my Bujo interesting every month. If you struggle with coming up with different themes every month for your bullet journal, this video is for you. Choosing an overall yearly theme. At the end of the year, I do a little brainstorm on what overarching theme I want to have for the entire year. I like to base my yearly theme on something that I want to learn to draw or improve in, but of course you can do anything you like. So for example, in 2020, I decided that I wanted my overarching theme for 2021 to be florals. I had seen floral drawings everywhere and I was so jealous of everyone who could draw these gorgeous floral drawings, so I wanted to learn, so I dedicated 2021 to drawing everything floral. Choosing a yearly theme made my monthly setup so much easier. Rather than choose something random or something seasonal and struggling to feel creative with it, I had a list of subjects to choose every month. I just had to choose a flower to draw. And that was pretty easy since you could literally just look outside, depending on what month it was, and choose from a flower that you saw outside, or literally just look up flowers online and pick one. This worked so well for me, and as the year progressed, so did my drawings. This year, I'm dedicating all of my themes to female humanoid creature things, as you may have heard in my Playing With Me videos. So think things like angels, fairies, and mermaids. I started off with no idea how to draw faces or bodies, and so far my ability to draw these has improved dramatically since I started. Depending on how large your overarching theme is, I would recommend doing a little bit of pre-planning ahead of time. My year of florals was pretty easy in that sense because, like I said, I could literally just look outside and pick a flower. But with something like female humanoid creature things, that's a little bit harder because you can't just look outside and see a mermaid floating around and draw inspiration from that. Tutorials. Tutorials are your best friend when it comes to learning how to draw something. I've gotten so many comments like, "Wow, I wish I could draw like you. You have such a natural talent." Oh my god, I could never draw something like that. Let me be the first to tell you, you can literally draw anything if you put the time aside to draw it and practice. I couldn't draw a flower past a simple daisy when I started my floral themes, and I certainly couldn't draw a proportionate body or a face. YouTube and Pinterest tutorials taught me literally everything I know about how to draw. I didn't go to school or have any training, I just picked tutorials online and followed all the steps that they laid out. As with anything, practice is what's going to make or break your satisfaction with a drawing. I know I've mentioned this a few times in my Playing With Me videos, but I specifically have been following a tutorial that I will link down below on how to draw bodies and faces. It has been so helpful for me and I highly recommend. Hey guys, this is me editing right now. I was just going through my video and I realized I left out a pretty important point. I just wanted to say that themes for your bullet journal are not necessary at all. The primary point of a bullet journal is for functionality first, and aesthetics is a secondary plus. The whole point of a bullet journal is to plan out your life, and you may or may not use your bullet journal as a creative outlet. Obviously, this video is more so for the people that use it as a creative outlet as well, like myself. So obviously, if you don't use your bullet journal for this reason, then this doesn't really apply. But yeah, I just wanted to make that known. I also wanted to add that if the stress of drawing in your bullet journal is starting to overtake just the general enjoyment of using it to begin with, I would suggest maybe taking a break and a step back to reevaluate. Is your bullet journal for aesthetics or is it for function? Is it for you, or are you stressing out needlessly over Instagram algorithms? If it is the latter, try to remind yourself that trying to please a social media algorithm is never going to work in your favor. In the end, it's either going to make you stressed out or burned out, or both. And nobody wants that. Color schemes and additives. The next thing I do in my theme planning is choose an overall look that I want for each of my themes. Do you want something light and airy, dark and moody, neutral vibes, bright and cheery? Do you want it to be seasonal, layered, minimal? Do you want moving parts, Dutch doors, vellum overlays? I like to consider these things first before sketching out my outline because they can have a big impact on how much space you have to draw and to write. Next, I choose colors and elements that complement each other. I know some people may refer to the color wheel for this, but honestly that just confuses me and stresses me out, so I avoid it altogether. I personally just go off of what I think looks good. Or if you need further help, I head over to Pinterest. I will just type in whatever my base color is for the theme and go off of that. So for example, if your theme was based on the color green, I would go into Pinterest and type in green aesthetic. and just see what photos come up. Take a look at the photos that stand out to you and take note of what other colors are in them. Then decide on what additional elements you want to have in your theme. Do you want washi tape, different kinds of scrap paper, stickers? You can again refer to that last bit about choosing a color scheme and apply it here to your additives. When it comes to lettering, mine is very mediocre, at least naturally. Lately, I've been using Font Generator because it has such a huge variety of styles to refer to. I pick one that kind of matches the vibe of my overall theme and then learn how to draw it from there. So for example, my theme for March was the succubus. I wanted something that was kind of dark and gothic to match the theme, so I went onto Font Generator and chose from the category of gothic and went from there. This helped me a lot and really helped keep the overall theme very cohesive. Finding inspiration. Finding inspiration can be one of the hardest or the easiest parts of planning out your theme. I have folders everywhere for pictures and videos that I draw inspiration from. I have saved folders on Instagram and Pinterest, and I save photos from Reddit onto my phone. I recommend saving anything and everything that inspires you, whether that be a color combination, a drawing, a font style, a layout style, a different material to use, literally anything. This will make your planning process so much easier when it comes time to make a new theme. When it's time for me to plan out my next theme, I go to my saved folders and pick out something that for inspiration for every type of category. I look for layouts that I want for each spread. So for my cover page, my monthly, my weeklies, my habit trackers, my mood trackers, everything. I look at how people layered different elements or how they drew something in a different and new interesting way. Then you can go ahead and compile all of those different inspiration pictures into one folder. Or you can do what I do in this next step. Pre-planning on Canva. Canva has been one of the biggest game changers for me when it comes to planning out a theme. I'm a very visual person, so I struggle a lot when it comes to trying to figure out how something's going to look before I've drawn it out. Using Canva has helped me a lot with planning out all the details of an upcoming bullet journal theme, and has helped me see how everything's going to look as the finished product. Once I figured out my theme subject, the color palette, and any additional elements, I start laying it all out on Canva. So for my April theme, I pasted the inspo pic I had for my cover, then started playing around with the other things I wanted to do in the theme. Canva has a ton of images for just about anything you can think of, so it's really easy to throw things in here. I knew I wanted craft paper, book paper, and a script washi tape, so I started playing around with those elements to get the look I wanted. I usually end up changing my mind about certain pages when I get to the outlining step, so things don't always look exactly like how I planned it in Canva, but that's okay. Part of the creative process, right? Canva has both a free and a paid version. I only use the free version since I'm only using this to plan out a theme, and I don't need to print or save anything for outside use. The free version has access to just about everything that the paid version does have, with the exception of the fonts. But like I said, I use Font Generator for that anyway. Making it original. This part is where you now make the theme and the artwork your own. There's nothing wrong with just doing a straight up recreation, provided that A, you've asked for permission, and B, you always credit the original artist. I think recreations can be really helpful for people that are starting out or just want to know if something's going to work for them. But generally, the point is to make artwork your own. You have your own style and personality and methods, and now it's time to put it to use. With every piece of inspiration, I like to change parts about it to make it my own. So for example, this image I chose as inspiration for my February cover. I loved the pose, the hair, and the ribbon throughout it, so I kept those aspects and changed just about everything else. I wanted something a little more cutesy, so I made the wings rounder and softer. I liked the stockings, but there was too much chaos with the print on them, so I made them white with some pink ribbon strapped around them. Obviously, I changed the entire color scheme. These little tweaks are what will change your themes from recreations to original artwork. And there you have it, my friends. I hope this was useful if you struggle with coming up with new monthly themes. I am hoping I didn't forget anything, but if I did, do drop a question down in the comments and I will answer to the best of my ability. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. I know a lot of people struggle with this annoyance on a regular basis, so I'd like to be able to help them out if I can. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.